One short day in the Emerald City, one short day to have a lifetime of fun. Welcome to the Emerald City, y'all! As a huge Broadway fan, the fact that Wicked was becoming a movie all on its own was amazing. But then when you combine that with Lego, oh my gosh, so perfect for our household and so perfect for everything that we'd want to see. This set is outstanding! I have had so much fun building out all 4 of the Lego Wicked sets, but this one is by far my favorite. Let's dig into the details. This is set number 75684, is $99.99, and will be available for purchase on October 1st. With 945 pieces and 5 fantastic mini dolls, this set packs a punch and is a really beautiful build overall. I love all of the shaping of the entire building. I love the play features that are included within. The stickers are fantastic as well, and there are lots of really fun details all throughout this entire build. One thing I love with sets like this one are the build together instructions. So you can see there are 4 build instruction books. The first one works with bags 1 and 2 and builds out this fun coffee cart, includes our first mini doll and our second mini doll. So we get Galinda and we get Fiero. It also builds out this fantastic apple tree with really fun design and decoration, and then a perfumery. Bags 3 and 4 build out the middle section at this base, featuring the lobby for Wizamania and some baked goods inside. Then the third book, of course, is probably my favorite. It builds out these 3 sections of the tower, includes our favorite, Elphaba, and includes the wizard, and comes with a top hat and with a hairpiece so that you can trade it out. The tower features a tiny Emerald City build, which I love this microscale build. It includes the wizard, as in the actual face of the wizard, and it has a really beautiful sticker with the wizard imprinted on it, as if it's in stained glass. I love the feature of the curtains around the wizard's face. I love the rounded nature of this top portion as well. And of course, I'm thrilled with the way that Elphaba can fly out of the window there, just like we've seen in all of the previews from the feature film and in the iconic Broadway show. The final instruction book then covers bags 8 and 9 and includes Madame Morrible, a fantastic mini doll all to herself, of course, with a beautiful dress, and then this entire little cafe setting. My favorite piece here is this printed round tile. It's such a fun, iconic piece that looks like a clock, and that's really reminiscent of the gears that we see all throughout the Broadway show. I loved when building this, how there were multiple uses of the different types of greens. You do see some of the lime green hidden within, but for the most part, we're using the bright green and the regular green. And then also there are some uses of the teal color, which I didn't expect to see at first. The teal and the dark blue help make the greens pop, and those gold details all throughout really feel like they fit perfectly with all of those details that you'd expect to see in the Emerald City. This really feels like a gorgeous display model, but also a super fun play model too. And I like how it's modular, and you can detach all of these different sections very easily. The build was full of really fun build details and experiences, creating lots of wonderful curvature. I'm loving in particular how we have this rounded entrance here to the perfumery, and we have this other beautiful larger arch that we see over in the dark blue as well on the left-hand side in that kind of cafe type setting. We also get a new piece. And this piece is actually showing up through a couple of the other builds that we see in this entire Wicked line, and I anticipate that we'll start to see it in many other places too. So that piece that I'm talking about would be this flower piece. You'll notice it on the plants. We have the coral plant piece inside this new floral piece that's on that kind of darker pink color. Really pretty. It's definitely going to be a nice addition to botanicals and to creating all different types of flowers. I also love that we have this leaf piece in a new print. So we have it in that transparent green, which is fantastic and so fun, and will be versatile for other types of builds as well. This one really, I felt, was the standout of the 4 sets for Wicked. The Emerald City is such an iconic visual for what we'd expect to see in something from Wizard of Oz or from Wicked. It comes with almost all of the characters that you would really want to have in here. I really wish that this one also came with Nessa Rose, but you also do have the opportunity to get a Nessa Rose in the Shiz University set. Now let's take a deeper dive at the mini dolls. First off, I know there's lots of controversy over whether or not people thought it should be minifigures or mini dolls. I personally love the visual of the mini dolls, and I think it was a great move. Before, in the early Friends lines, I wasn't a huge fan of Minidolls, and I think that's because they were new and I wasn't used to them. But in this second wave of Friends, I've grown really accustomed to seeing those Minidolls in a lot of our sets and a lot of our play areas. In particular, the Disney Princess line, that really won me over to liking Minidolls a lot. Of course, initially I think all of us were anticipating that it would be minifigures, as that's what we've seen for most IP lines before. But ultimately, I think the Minidolls fit perfectly for this. Look at how beautiful Glinda's dress is. Truthfully, I think Glinda in this dress, in this Minidoll format, looks perfect and honestly feels like it would be a better option than having her as a minifigure. I also love how we see Elphaba with her witch's outfit here. I think all of those little details that we see printed in purple and silver across her body, really fantastic. Great custom shaping for the cape that we see here. I also love that we get this hat. And one thing I wish would happen is that we would have the hat without the hairpiece, so that in the moment where we're seeing Glinda give the hat to Elphaba, that she would actually have a hat without the hairpiece to hand to her. That said, I think the hair was perfect for the way that we see the Elphaba from the movie, and I think it fits perfectly with representing Cynthia Erivo's take on Elphaba. The one miss that I see on the Minidolls is I feel like we should have gotten a second head for Elphaba that includes the iconic round glasses. Those glasses are such a moment for her, and it really feels like it's a huge part of her character, and I feel like it was a miss, maybe not in this set, but possibly in the Shiz University set. And when I go over those other sets with you, you'll see the difference that I'm talking about. That's honestly probably my only complaint that I have, though. I think the hair pieces that we see, the molds for Elphaba, for Glinda, for Madame Morrible, all fit perfectly with the way that they're designed. The other minor complaint that Philip brought up was he didn't really feel like Fiero's hair was an accurate fit for him. He might be right, I don't know. I don't mind it so much. I think this is a fun hair color, but it might be a little bit darker. That might have been a better option too. But let's take a look at each of the minifigures. So of course, Elphaba, Glinda, hands down, the best Minidolls I think we've ever gotten out of LEGO. These are fantastic. They're so beautiful, have fantastic printing all around. Here with Glinda, we see that her wand is brand new. So this is a new build. And then also we see the crown, which is also brand new in that color. That hairpiece is perfect for her. And the expression, honestly, is evoking Ariana Grande. Let's look at the wizard. The wizard's body is perfect with the multiple tones of green. I'm loving all of those gold printed parts, and that mustache and little goatee is perfect for Jeff Goldblum. Madame Morrible's outfit also looks perfect, just like we see in Michelle Yeoh's take on Madame Morrible from the movie. I'm loving all of these gold printed details. I'm loving that moon print in the middle. It really feels spot on. And then with Fiero, we see him in his classic Shiz University outfit, and I think that's a good fit as well. I kind of found it a little surprising that we only got one opportunity for a Fiero mini doll, but ultimately, I think a lot of collectors are going to be picking up the entire line. So each of these individual elements were super fun to build. My favorite section would have to be where we see the Mask of the Wizard. I love the visual of that mask. I think it's a perfect little build, and it works perfectly for that size and that space. I love the inclusion of the posable minifigure piece here, used in a really interesting way here to allow for Elphaba to fly out of the window. There's not really an official way for Elphaba to ride a broom because the arms are stuck in a way that the hands can't rotate. I do wish that was one change that we could see with the Minidolls in this set in particular, is if we were able to rotate the hand a little bit, that would help with the posability here. I love this little coffee cart. It feels very futuristic and also retro at the same time. Those gold rings that we see really kind of match and mirror the ring effects that you see all throughout the Emerald City. I don't really know who's supposed to be driving that coffee cart, so I'm excited to see in the movie if someone actually does that would be from this little cast of characters that we have in these Minidolls, or if it's just meant to be something that pulls from the world of the Emerald City. Also, the apple tree, I don't really understand why an apple tree was picked specifically, so maybe there's something that's added into the movie that doesn't actually show up in the Broadway show, but that includes a reason and a purpose for why it's an apple tree. These first 4 sets are perfectly timed with the opening of the movie in November, but I'm excited to see and hopeful to see if we get additional Wicked sets that come in the spring after the movie is opened, but before Part 2 comes out. My hope and my expectation would be maybe that we have 2 to 3 additional waves of LEGO Wicked sets. In the Shiz University set, there are connection pieces that make it appear like we're going to get other parts of the school, and those university pieces will all connect together. So I'm very curious to see, will we get a buildable Shiz University over time? So maybe a classroom, perhaps a classroom scene with our favorite Dr. Dillamond. I'm actually kind of surprised we didn't get a Dr. Dillamond in this first wave of sets, so I'm guessing that the sets will continue to expand on Shiz University and will eventually get a Dr. Dillamond. He's too important of a character for us not to get a representation of him in LEGO. Hopefully we'll get one in a future set. I also think that LEGO could have gotten away with a buildable mask that was much larger, maybe even the scale of like the Star-Lord mask or the Star Wars masks that we've seen. Those would be really fun to have. So maybe that's a wish list set that I would have here too. Another would be an interesting take on Wizamania, so maybe we would get an opportunity to build out that whole scene. I'd also love to see other elements of a downtown street in Emerald City. In looking at the Emerald City build, I am super impressed with the use of the transparent parts, those transparent green parts that wave all the way up and kind of loop around in that circular fashion. Lots of circles, iconography, and archways, and rounded curved kind of pieces really feel like they fit the vibe of what I expect to see from an Emerald City build. The gold touches are really perfect too. It feels like a nice contrast that helps pull away from a focus that would be only on green. So if it was just green alone, I think that would be a little boring and wouldn't really have enough contrast to it. So that gold is a nice way to break that up a bit. But then I was really impressed with the use of the dark turquoise and with the dark navy. I didn't expect to see that in this build, and so it was exciting to see, as I was putting it together with Philip, how much we enjoyed all of the different contrasting colors and how it really helped everything pop. Each of the Wicked sets also has a fun hidden feature. So in this bookshelf that you see on the back, first off, we have a built bookshelf that allows you to remove one of the books, and I think that's a fantastic build option. I actually wish that the modular bookstore was built in the same type of way, as I think that's such a clever way to use those books that open up and that have pages within them. But just underneath the books, we see this QR code. Now, the sad thing is I've tried the QR code and it goes nowhere currently, but I reached out to LEGO and asked, when will this be live? And of course, it'll be live on October 1st. So after October 1st, I will explore what that QR code goes to, and I will follow up with y'all about that. And I also expect that the QR codes in each of the different builds goes to a different kind of piece of content or piece of information. We'll have to wait and see. With 945 pieces and $99.99 US dollars, ultimately this breaks down to about the price per part that we're used to, especially with IP lines like Wicked. I would like to see maybe an additional mini doll, and we do get 5 in here, but it would be nice if they would have included Nessa Rose. So that's maybe my only other complaint. While I would have loved to have seen Nessa Rose included in this, it actually makes sense that she's not here in the Emerald City, as she doesn't actually have any moments in the Broadway show where she's there. Now, maybe that's a little bit different in the movie. We'll have to wait and see. I am glad that in the whole wave that we do get one Nessa Rose included in there. I'm also a little surprised that this is where Fiyero shows up. It kind of makes more sense to me that Fiyero would show up in the Shiz University set instead, or maybe in the dorm room set. But ultimately, I think that the fact that we're getting a Fiyero is really a win altogether. And this set in particular, for collectors who are maybe only going to get one set, this would be the one to get the bulk of the characters that you would want to have. Although honestly, I think Nessa Rose is a must-have mini doll to include in your collection. So if you couldn't tell, I'm wicked excited about Wicked. Cannot wait for the movie to come out. Have been a huge fan of the Broadway play. Love the musical, love all of the music, and am super, super excited that LEGO created this line in partnership with Wicked. Cannot wait for the movie to come out in mid-November. I was thrilled to get the opportunity to review this set and the other 3 sets in the wave, and I cannot wait to share more with you about all of the other sets. So stay tuned for additional views at the other 3 sets. The whole wave of all 4 sets are really fantastic together. I'm super excited especially to go over the buildable sets, the buildable Elphaba and Galinda. I would love to see you join my live stream on Saturday, where Philip and I will be joining our good friends Simon and Dan of 2 Gay AFOLs to build those 2 buildable figures together. So join us on Saturday for that live stream and celebrate all of the fun of Wicked. That wraps up my review of Welcome to Emerald City. Thank you so much much for watching. I'd love it if you could like and subscribe to continue helping support this channel. Additionally, let me know in the comments, is this a set that you plan to pick up? Or what else would you like to see from Wicked? And as always, build kindness. Thanks, y'all.